with us. And as it is now, because of the Holy Spirit being in our heart, God with us.
Amen.
It's a wonderful, beautiful thing. Our thought for today: do I really know to who I belong?
Amen.
Again, do I really know to whom I belong? We need to understand this, but sometimes when we go through things and things happen in our life, we act like we don't know who we belong to. We cry like the Lord is not there. We cuss like the Lord is not there. Amen. I'm just putting it where it's at. We get angry like the Lord is not there. We'll fight with people like the Lord is not there. Don't you know, Emmanuel, God with us? Do you really know to whom you belong? You belong to the Almighty. The Jehovah Jireh, my provider. The Jehovah Rapha, my healer. Amen. Jehovah Shammah, my peace. Come on, do you know this? Do you understand this? You have to understand this. Do you know who you belong to? Our challenge for today: to say, think, and believe, I am an overcomer. Again, to say, think, and believe, I am an overcomer. In other words, not just saying it just because it sounds good. You need to say it, think it, believe it, and then say, I am an overcomer. Because one thing is for sure, what you're thinking is going to come out of your mouth. The Bible says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So whatever in your heart is going to come out. It's got to come out because you put it or you had it in your heart. You've got to know that. Understand, your heart will tell the truth. Many people don't understand that. They try to go about it as though nothing is going on. But no, when you open your mouth, you say, or you know to whom you belong. You speak it out of your mouth. Amen? We have to understand that. We got to say it, think it, believe it, so we can show that we know it, who we belong to. So, to say, to think, and believe, I am an overcomer. Amen. Finally, our topic: will the overcomer please rise? Again, will the overcomer please rise? We want to know today and understand that we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. The enemy cannot defeat us because we are overcomers. The only one the enemy can defeat is those who do not know to whom they belong. See, if you're going to act defeated, walk defeated, talk defeated, think defeated, guess what? You're defeated. See, but when you're an overcomer, you don't walk defeated. You don't talk defeated. You don't think defeated. Why? Because you're not defeated. You're an overcomer. You're an overcomer who overcomes obstacles. You're an overcomer who overcomes obstructions in your way. You don't allow anything to get to you, or you don't allow anything to bring you down. Nothing stops you from praying. Nothing stops you from reading God's word. Why? Because you're an overcomer. An overcomer keeps it moving. An overcomer gets over things. He doesn't sit there and dwell and waller in his pity. He doesn't start a pity party so everybody can come over and pat him on the back and tell him how good he is. An overcomer knows who he is. He's going to act on who he is. It's just like a police officer. When a police officer knows his right and knows his authority, he can act on it. And guess what? The state will back him up. Why? Because he has the authority to act. He has the authority to do things. Now, although that authority is limited, he knows and he has to know what his authority is. But when he's within his right, everybody will back him up. His captain will back him up. Ain't that right? His supervisor will back him up. Everybody will stand behind him when he's in the right. Will the overcomer please rise? Is there anyone in here who is really an overcomer? Do you know how to overcome obstacles in your life? When we read the story of David and Goliath, I need you to understand that everybody has an obstacle. Goliath was a giant in Israel's way. How many know giants just stand in your way? Giants want to take what belongs to you. Giants will pull you down if you let them. They look big, they're huge, but guess what? They're just an obstacle. A lot of times, we're so dependent on our ability. We're so dependent on what we can do, which is the reason why a lot of giants defeat us at times. See, I need you to understand that the ex-habit that you had was once a giant in your life. And if you're not careful, that giant will walk right back into your life. Because his whole purpose as a giant is to be an obstacle in your way. To be somebody to challenge you. To be somebody who comes against what God has for you. Because that's all a giant does. Because he's an obstacle. Say it with me. He's an obstacle. He's an obstacle. Say this with me. I shouldn't let my attitude be an obstacle in my way. I told Tabernacle Purpose this morning, your attitude is everything. Your attitude is everything. Everything you do will show your attitude. Most marriages will not make it. Marriage in the church is 60-40. Wow. Marriage in the world is 50-50. Now, ain't that something? In the hospital, the marriages are falling. But out in the world, the marriages are lasting. Isn't that a shame? The marriage is going to last according to the obstacle or the attitude of those within the marriage. No one wants to be with someone who's got a bad attitude. And an attitude is not something that just came upon you. Oh no, believe me, you can catch a quick tube. Everybody can get a tube real quick. Or just step on their feet or tell them about themselves. Real quick, an attitude will come up. But attitudes are developed.
That's right.
And it's developed over time. I was shocked when I read this bit of news this week, and I said, Lord, is this true? Do you not know that from the age of 6 years old, your behaviors was already set? From the age of 6 years old, your behaviors were set. We could tell from a young age what you were going to be and what you were going to do. And you know what? I'm starting to believe they're right. You know why? Because within your DNA is all the proof that they need to tell what you're going to do for your future. Who you're going to be. What you're going to be. According to what's inside of you. Attitudes come from the inside. See, one of the reasons for unanswered prayer is your attitude when you pray. You think you're supposed to have it instead of asking God for his perfect will for your life. You think that God is Santa Claus and he's just supposed to be one that brings all the gifts in his sack that you want. God ain't like that. Look around, tell your neighbor, God is not Santa Claus.
God is not Santa Claus.
Tell him he's going to bring what you need.
He's going to bring what you need.
You need to understand that God is going to bring what you need. Don't let your attitude get in the way of your prayer. Attitudes hurt us spiritually. Attitudes hurt us emotionally. Listen, attitudes hurt us mentally. Attitudes can even get to us physically. How many have ever got so angry that you felt your stomach hurt?
Yes.
Or you got a headache?
Yes, Jesus.
Or you got so angry, you got diarrhea because your stomach got upset. Y'all laughing, I'm talking real. Your attitude can get to you physically, and can get to you spiritually, and can get to you emotionally. And these are the things the enemy likes to attack. This is why he brings us to that point at times where we let our attitude show. And we got to be careful that we're walking in the spirit so that our attitude doesn't take over, so that our spirit man will take control. That's why the Bible, why do you think the Bible tells you walk in the spirit? Because the Spirit knows that if you don't walk in the Spirit, you're going to walk in you. And automatically, somebody's going to see an attitude. Anybody that wakes up moody in the morning, attitude. Wake up, you just mad for no God-given reason. Just mad. Why? Attitude. How many times have we, some of us who have children, how many times have we had to give our children an attitude adjustment?
Amen. Hallelujah.
Because they got a bad attitude. Who wants to tell a child to do something and he doesn't do it? It's his attitude.
Hallelujah.
Oh. You ever had to talk to somebody and no matter what you said to them, they just snap at you? Amen. It's like, my goodness, I'm just talking to you. Amen. I ain't yell at you, I ain't scold you, but they come forth with that bad attitude. And it's hurting them spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically, and after a while, you're going to hear it out of their mouth verbally. Their attitude is going to show in every aspect of their life. Do you not know that your attitude will even hurt you financially? Who's ever been fired? Because of your attitude. Attitude. Attitude will get you fired. No one wants anyone on their job with an attitude. First thing they tell you is that you might approach the customers like this. How you gonna be a salesman? Yo, I want you to buy this. You better buy this. I know what's gonna happen if you come to my door. Bam! That's the door slamming in your face. Because no one's going to talk to me with that attitude and expect for me to buy something from them. Don't you just hate it when you're online at the store and you waiting to get out and the cashier's upset because she done did so many other customers and now she come to you, now she got attitude with you. Yeah, what do you want? Like, ain't nobody told you work here. I didn't get you this job. You got this job on your own. You need to be happy about working here. And I'm a customer. I can put all this stuff back. Oh, matter of fact, you put it back. No one wants to deal with anybody with a bad attitude. And some, even Christians, need an attitude check and an attitude adjustment. And we need to check our own selves and stop waiting for somebody to remind us, get a hold of your attitude. How many friends have you run away? How many people have left you alone because at one time of your attitude with them? Come on, saints. We need to talk about this. You need to understand it. You need to say, you need to be like the disciples did when Jesus told them, one of you shall betray me. Is it I? Don't automatically think it's me. Maybe it's you. Listen, it's easy to blame me because it wasn't you blamed. No one wants to blame themselves. Remember we talked about self last time I was here? We talked about self? He's a mess. Who are you talking about? Yourself. Because that's who's a mess. Self. Self is a mess. Come on and say it with me. Self is a mess. Come on, you don't sound believable. Say it again. Self is a mess. Self is a mess. Self is a mess, and if you're not careful, self will pull you down. See, attitude decides your altitude.
That's it.
How high you will go.
Yes.
See, and if your attitude is bad, let me tell you something. You can fall in your altitude. and come down. But see, when your attitude is right, let me tell you something. The difference between whose prayer gets answered and whose prayer doesn't is the attitude you pray with.
Amen. Amen.
Because if you pray with the right attitude, God listens to the one who knows how to pray, who knows how to approach him, who knows how to ask for what they need or what they're looking for from God. God's not answering anybody with a bad attitude,
Right.
like he owed you something. No, you go to God with the right attitude. You know what's the old saying we always say? You can say anything you want to say. It's how you say it.
That's right. That's right.
See, if you approach me and approach me wrong with it, expect for me to get an attitude.
That's right.
Because I just might.
Amen.
Because you approach me wrong. There's a right way and a wrong way to do everything.
Yes.
Why don't we choose the right way? And listen, get some sleep. Because if you don't sleep, sleeping makes you moody.
Yes.
And sleeping makes you attitudinal.
Yes.
Get some rest so that you can have a nice attitude. So that you can talk to people the right way.
That's right. That's right.
See, you ever been around somebody who ain't got no rest? I was talking to a brother one time, and he's talking to another person. I'm like, brother, go home and get some sleep. Just go home and get some sleep. Because I knew it was him not sleeping that was causing him to act the way he was. Because you have limited patience
That's so true.
when you don't sleep.
Yes.
You're easy to get into confrontation because you're already upset.
Amen.
Because the mind's been deprived of sleep
Rest.
and rest. And so you'll say things you wouldn't normally say.
That's right.
You'll do things you wouldn't normally do. But it's not because that's you, it's because you've been lacking rest.
That's right.
Look around, tell your neighbor, get some rest. So when you go to work tomorrow, you're fresh. Everybody loves to see you. They shouldn't have to say when you come to the door, oh boy, here he comes. That's her, yeah. Just look down, don't say, good morning. Come on now, everybody got those kind of people on the job. Some of our managers have the worst attitude. You can't talk to them, you can't say anything to them. The minute you say something, they're upset with you for no reason, all because they got a bad attitude. And you know what? You don't even have anything to do with it, but you're going to get it because they got it.
Wow.
And as I was talking to Tabernacle Purpose this morning, and the Holy Spirit brought it to my mind, let me let you know something too. You are Christians. You are, everybody that's a believer, raise your hand. Everybody that believes the Lord and has faith in God, raise your hand. Do you know that you are charged to walk with the right attitude? Because you know why? Attitudes are transferable.
That's right. Oh yes. Oh yes.
So if you don't have the right attitude, you might get attitude to Aaron.
That's right.
Next thing you know, Aaron looked at me, what? Why? Because you done transferred your attitude to Aaron.
Amen.
That is so true.
Saints, that's why we got to walk in the Spirit, because we're walking with a lot of different spirits around us, and these spirits have attitudes, and if you're not careful, they'll transfer what's on them to you.
Amen. Amen.
Spirits are transferable. Attitude is spirit. And that spirit in that person will move and jump right on out in you. Here's a good host. Let me stay with him for a while. Just because somebody had attitude with you. Who brings their work home? Come on, just be honest now. You bring your work home? That's bad. That's bad. You know what I'm going to tell you what I told one brother. He was suffering from the same thing. Before you get home, get you a Walkman. Play you some worship music in your ears.
That's right.
Play some worship music before you get home. Begin to worship God before you get in the door. So that when you get in the door, hi, honey, instead of, hi, honey. Yeah, what's up? No. Wrong attitude. Now, y'all laughing. Y'all laughing. But when your attitude shows up, this message is going to come to your mind. Haggai said it twice to Israel. Consider your ways. Ways there is the same, is the word that has a lot to do with your ways inside you. And one of your ways inside you is your attitude. When I was dealing with a person with such a bad attitude one time, I said, Lord, if you don't help me, I'm going to break his jaw. Lord, I know it's going to happen. Lord, it's just a matter of time. It's a matter of time. I'm gonna be like that old preacher in my father's church that said, "Red, hold my Bible," and he wanted to fight the other preacher because that's how bad of an attitude he was giving him. But how many know that even when we get to that point, we have to try to walk in the Spirit? We have to say, Lord, help me so that I don't get out of character, because your attitude can throw you out of character.
Yes, it can. Yes, it can.
And you'll become what you don't want to be. And you'll show who you're not because of that attitude for the moment.
That's right. That's right.
And for me, it's real bad. Because if I got to get up here and preach, and pastor sitting there like this, because I done gave her the wrong attitude this morning, that ain't no help to me.
No, it's not. It's not.
Come on now. Come on now, we got to seek the Lord about this. This morning we have a man named David who had the right attitude. See, I need you to understand. Most of y'all know this story, so we're just going to go through it. Is that okay? Amen. We all know that Israel was on a mountain on one side. The Philistines was on a mountain on the other side. Goliath came down into the valley to challenge someone from Israel. And what he was saying to them in essence was, why do our armies have to fight and a lot of people have to die? He said, a lot of people don't have to die. He said, all you've got to do is send me your champion, and I'm the champion of the Philistines, and I will fight your champion, and whoever wins between the two of us, the others, that nation will be that nation's, the other nation's servant.
Amen. Yes, he did.
That's what the giant said. See, I need you to understand, Goliath, you've been looking at as a man. 9 feet tall, with all this armor on him, armor of brass on him. But let me tell you something. Goliath is not a man. Goliath is actually your attitude outside of you. He's standing there to oppose you of what God rightfully has for you. See, Goliath was standing on the other side of land that he claimed belonged to him, but Israel could take over that land, but somebody had to go and defeat that attitude that was keeping them from winning that battle. The attitude is keeping you from getting what God has for you. The attitude is keeping you from going forward. So unless if you want what God has for you, you have got to get rid of the attitude. You have got to kill the attitude, and you've got to get to the attitude and cut his head off so that he don't live no more. Because giant attitudes got to die. So you got to understand, what makes me put Goliath as an attitude? Number one, he had a big mouth. He talked a lot. Number two, he boasts on himself. That's an attitude. An attitude boasts in what it is and what it does. Come on now, how many times you almost got into a fight with somebody? You know what I'll do to you? You know, we ain't going to use those terms and what they say. But you know how they talk. Why? Because they're boasting in their attitude about what they can do. That's exactly what Goliath did. He wanted anybody from Israel to oppose him because he was the obstacle in Israel's way. He was stopping Saul. He was stopping David's brothers. He was stopping Jonathan. He was stopping the army of Israel from overcoming. And the only way they can overcome, they had to defeat their own attitude. And why can you say that? I can say that why? Because we are all one. We are one human race. And we're all one. And whether we like to know it or not, we are all from one mother and father. And that mother and father's sin was passed down into us. So if one of us got an attitude, all of us got an attitude. Why? Because all have sinned and come short of the glory of God.
That's right.
So no one in here is perfect. No one in here is better than anybody else. Everybody in here has got an attitude. I don't know where it's at, but somewhere in your life, there's an attitude. And somewhere in your life, there's a wrong attitude.
That's right. Amen.
The way you think could be wrong. The things you say could be wrong. The actions you take could be wrong. And Goliath is wrong because he's challenging Israel. But more than challenging Israel, he's challenging God, who Israel belongs to.
That's right. My God.
That's why David said, who is this uncircumcised Philistine that would defy the armies of the living God? But listen, his attitude was so bad that David's brothers wouldn't move to fight him.
Right. Amen.
They were terrified. And these were the same guys that when Samuel went to David's house and anointed David to be king, that Jesse brought all his sons in before he brought David. And he brought all these brothers out. And Samuel looked at them and said, surely he is the anointed. And God said, I don't look the way man looks. For man looks at the outward appearance. But see, God searches what? The reason why, listen. You know why God chose David? Right attitude.
That's right.
God sees the inward. God sees the heart. What God is going to use you to do, how God is going to elevate you, all depends upon the attitude inside you.
That's right.
Your attitude towards leadership, your attitude towards authority, your attitude towards people who have the rule over you. God is going to do what he does inside of you on the outside and manifest himself according to your attitude. You want to get healed? What's your attitude? You want that miracle? Tell me your attitude. Are you walking like you got the miracle already? Are you walking like you're already healed? I can tell you right now if you're going to be healed. If you're walking around, I don't feel good, I think I'm going to die. You know, my mother died with this, my father suffered with this all his life. Wrong attitude. That's not the word. The word would say, by his stripes I am healed. The word would say, he sent his word and healed them and delivered them from all their destruction. Because when the word goes forth, God's people are healed. See, you got to use the word to get healed. The right attitude uses the word. The right attitude knows that it's God's word that's going to bring what I need.
That's it. That's right. That's right.
See, this is why David's brothers couldn't go fight Goliath. This is why Saul couldn't go fight Goliath. Wrong attitude. This is why Jonathan wouldn't move from the ranks to go face Goliath. Didn't have the right attitude. They had an attitude of fear. For when they saw Goliath, he was huge. He was gargantuan. He was big. And they were scared. They had an attitude of fear. And their attitude said, we're not moving to fight him. He's too big for us. And guess what? For 40 days, Goliath called for somebody. And guess what? No one answered. For 40 days, did? He came down from the mountain, came down into the valley, and asked for someone to come fight him. And no one came. Everybody, Saul, big as he was when he was anointed by Samuel, he stood shoulders above the rest of Israel. But Saul, sitting back with the rest of the army, just as scared as they were. And it was his battle. Because if you don't know the ways of the old country, the king was supposed to step up.
That's right.
And take on the challenger. Because the king had to inspire everybody else. But what do you do when your king won't go forward? But I come to tell you that your king conquered death. Your king conquered sin. Your king conquered the devil. And now your king lives forever. You've got to have the right king. King Saul was a chicken. He was a coward who wouldn't move.
Yes,
He just stayed there. He sat back while Goliath made fun of God's people. While he challenged them and nobody moved. And he challenged them 40 days. You know what the number 40 in the Bible represents? It represents tests. He tests them for 40 days. He tests them and tests them and tests them, and no one came out. Why? They had the wrong attitude. The wrong attitude. Saul, the king, was looking for somebody else to do it, and no one else would. Will the overcomer please rise?
Hallelujah. Thank you, God.
Will the overcomer please rise? Here comes the overcomer with some cheese and some bread and some vegetables for his brother, for his brothers. He's not even a soldier, but he's got food for them. And he's been told, take their report. He's not even a part of the battle. But here comes the overcomer. And he's walking into the battle. And while he's there, and he's greeting his brothers, and he's greeting everybody there, here comes this big mouth attitude from the mountains. Now, if you've ever been in a mountainous place, see, Israel was on a mountain, the Philistines was on a mountain, and between them was a valley, right? When you're between mountains, what happens is that you can have the smallest voice, but your voice echoes all over the place. So everybody knows Goliath is talking to them because he's got a big mouth at that. And he's talking and he's challenging them. And no one's moving. Because see, the enemy is standing on this side while you're here, and he's telling you that unless you face me, unless you confront me, I'm going to hold what rightfully belongs to you. You'll never get past who you are. You'll never get past where you're supposed to be until you defeat me. That's why we have to confront our attitude. Because if you don't, your attitude will stop you from everything God has for you.
That's right.
Your attitude will keep you from prospering. Your attitude will keep you from financial freedom. Your attitude will keep you from going forward in God. Your attitude will keep you from ministry. Whatever God says you will be, your attitude will hold you right there. See, that's why Saul was paralyzed. Because your attitude will paralyze you. Your attitude will shock you so that you can't move. David's brothers couldn't move. Jonathan couldn't move. No one could till the guy with the cheese showed up. He came bearing food. No sword, nothing. The only thing he came with was his slingshot. He had his slingshot. He wasn't a fighter like his brothers, but they were there And their attitude was challenging them, and they were doing nothing about it. But what I proved and what I showed through the word, I'm going to show you through the word that although David wanted to confront his attitude, the ones who wouldn't confront their own attitude tried to stop him.
Wow.
Let's read it in the word. Somebody say, I got to see this.
I gotta see this.
Somebody say, I'm excited about this.
I'm excited about this.
Look at this, look at this, look at this. Look at verse 23, and I want you to hear your attitude. And as they talked, they begin to talk with David. As they talked with them, behold, there came up the champion, the Philistine of Gath, Goliath by name, out of the armies of the Philistines, and he spake according to the same words. And listen, but this time, David heard them. This was the first time David heard this stupid man open his mouth. And when David heard him, it infuriated David. David's righteous indignation got stirred up.
Amen.
And while everybody else there was fearful, David had no fear. Come on and say it with me, no fear.
No fear.
Say it again, no fear.
No fear.
No fear. Oh, I remember when I was in Brother Nate's karate class years ago, when he was silly, before the Lord got a hold of him and saved him. And I remember he would talk to us when we were doing karate, and he would tell us, because he had to prepare our mind, he'd say, no fear, no fear, Melanie, no fear, no fear. While you getting beat up, while you getting kicked around, while you being stomped on, no fear. But see, I come to let you know that fear will stop you from anything that God has for you. And in order for you to overcome, you have got to overcome fear. Fear is the wrong attitude. And in order to go forward, you have got to defeat your fear. There's no job too good for you. There's no money too much for you, because you are a child of the living God. And you've got to know that. You've got to know that the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, and the world and they that dwell therein. And you are a joint heir with Christ. So you own the earth. You got to take control of your mind, your life, and speak no fear. God is here. God is near. You got to tell the devil, I will not fear. I will not. Why? Because God is near.
Yes.
Amen.
Everybody else was fearful, but David heard him, and David was ready for him. David was ready for him. Listen to his brothers. Listen to his brothers in verse 28. His oldest brother now, this was the first guy that passed by Samuel when Samuel came there to anoint the next king. Listen, and Eliab, his eldest brother, heard when he spake unto the men. And Eliab's anger was kindled against David. And he said, why camest thou hither? And with whom hast thou left those few sheep in the wilderness? I know thy pride and the naughtiness of thy heart, for thou art come down that thou mightest see the battle. What's wrong with you, man? Maybe he got an attitude because he wasn't chosen. And he heard David speaking so confidently, it irritated him. Because here it is, this little boy think he gonna do something. Notice, anybody that doesn't believe, they will always try to stop you from what God has for you. Beware of discouragers when you want to go forward and do what God has, because the devil will always put somebody to discourage you or to stop you in what you're about to do, because he doesn't want you to go forward. And here comes the eldest brother speaking to the youngest brother like he's saying, you can't do it. Where are your sheep? What you need to do is be a shepherd. let us handle the battle, even though we're scared. David's talking faith, and he's trying to make David be scared.
Wow.
Go back and do what you're supposed to. If you're not careful, those who don't know God's will for your life will keep you where you are and cause you to stay right where you are. You'll never move. You'll never go forward. You'll never write that book. You'll never go and do what God's called you to do if you're going to listen to people. You got to shut people's voice up. You got to shut out their voice coming into your head because they will discourage you. If you're looking for somebody to discourage you about your marriage, don't look hard. You'll find it.
Amen.
They will tell you just about what you need to do, but they themselves won't do nothing. They'll tell you to do what they won't do. Don't tell me, let me tell you something. If you're a true Christian, don't tell me to do something you ain't got the courage to do yourself.
That's right.
Go ahead, you can do it. Well, come on with me. I got to go home because I left the chicken on since last night. And that's how his brother sounds. They're fearful. They have an attitude. They chose to be fearful. Listen, they chose not to fight Goliath. They chose to freeze rather than be free. They chose to envision falling rather than fighting. We have to think and say who we are and what we're going to do. See, and that's what I like about David. David didn't just go out there and fight. He said what the Lord was going to do.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
See, and that's what, before, now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. You've got to say it before you see it. If you think you're going to see it, you got to say it before you see it, so that God knows that your faith lines up, that you already have it. Anybody got that? Anybody got that? Did everybody get that?
Amen.
You got to say it. You can't see it first. Say it, then believe it, and then pursue it. And then thank God for it that is yours. And don't let nobody else tell you that God done took it from you. Believe God. That's why Paul said, I believe God.
Hallelujah. Thank you, God.
You got to believe God. Look around, tell your neighbor, you got to believe God. Tell him you got to believe God. See, it's not over. Verse 29, David said, what have I done? Is there not a cause? And he turned from him towards another and spake. See, what I like about it, it didn't discourage David. It didn't discourage him. You know, a lot of times we get so discouraged. If we were a dog, our tail be hanging down between our legs. We'd be walking away. All right. Why? Because we know we've been defeated. Not literally, spiritually.
Wow.
Because you can be defeated without being defeated.
Wow.
Because if you're defeated inside, you're already defeated. See, it's not the defeat on the outside, it's the defeat on the inside that already stirred up before you got in.
That's right.
How many remember Mike Tyson, the boxer? Y'all remember Mike Tyson, the boxer? There was one boxer, I don't remember if it was Spence or Frazier. Nate and Lee probably know. But one of these guys said that when they saw Mike get up and come towards them in the beginning of the fight, they already had decided it was over. Because when they seen Mike Tyson's eyes and determination, Brother Aaron, when they saw the determination in his eyes, they were done. See, we need to have some saints with determination in their eyes, with determination in their voice, with determination in their heart. That when you speak, you let the devil know, back up. You let the devil know, get out of here. You're not stopping me, because I am determined that you're going to be defeated. I'm going to have what God says I should have. What I have is mine, and you're not going to take it. You've got to be determined. And because Mike was determined, I think it took 90 seconds. And the fight was over. First round. Never went to the second round. Because many of his fights didn't go that far. Because he was determined.
Yes.
Somebody said determined. See, overcomers are determined. They're not going to let anything defeat them. If one job turns you down, go to another. If one person says no, the next person is going to say yes. But you can't go to that one already thinking he's going to say no. That's not determined. That's you have determined, but you have determined the wrong thing. Because you determined your demise instead of determining your overcoming. See, when you go there, you got to say, this is mine. And you can't have it. And you can't take it from me. You got to let the devil know, no, you can't have it. This is mine. I'm determined. Oh boy, we used to sing a song back in the band. I'm determined to walk with Jesus. Oh, yes, I am. Are you really determined to see God do something in your life? Are you really determined to be healed? Are you really determined to see God do a great work? Are you really determined that every day is going to be a happy day? Are you really determined that you'll never lose your joy? Are you really determined that no one's going to take your peace from your house? You've got to be determined that it's going to happen. And then it will. David's determined. So next thing, this is what happened. And he turned, I'm going to verse 31. And when the words were heard, which David spake, they rehearsed them before Saul. Listen. And the king, the king sent for the anointed one. The old king sent for the future king. The old king called for the true warrior because he was no warrior. He was a coward. He proved it, for 40 days Goliath challenged him and he never moved. But will the real champion rise?
Oh my God.
Will the real overcomer rise? And the Bible said Saul sent for David, and the only thing Saul heard was what David said. Saul called for him based on his words of faith.
Thank you, Lord.
They're not getting it, Lord. They're not getting it. Saul called for him based on what David believed. David believed that Goliath would be brought down when no one else would say it, when no one else wanted to do it. David believed God. And even though Israel belonged to God, it was not till David came that God was in the camp. And now that the anointing's in the camp, Goliath is in trouble. I'm telling you, no matter what you're doing, you are anointed to do this. You are the overcomer. No matter what comes against you, know I am anointed. And my anointing will stop my attitude. You gotta know it. Anointing trumps attitude. Anointing overcomes attitude.
Thank you, God.
But you gotta know I'm anointed.
Yes, Lord.
And Saul sends for the anointed one. He doesn't even know that the one he's calling for, that this battle is going to change the course of the nation.
That's right. That's right.
He doesn't even know that this battle is going to put David above him.
Hallelujah.
God is setting David up, and Saul doesn't even know it. And Saul is bringing David to fight his battle. Why? Because God wasn't with Saul. God was with David. And the only one who could defeat Goliath was God. And God was in David. And the only way this battle was going to turn, David had to rise up. The overcomer, please rise.
Hallelujah.
And David came to Saul.
Thank you, Jesus.
Listen. And David said to Saul, listen what the overcomer said. Let no man's heart fail because of him. Thy servant will go and fight. Your servant will go and fight. This was Saul's battle. Listen, this was Saul's moment. Don't miss your moment. Listen to me. Everybody's eyes this way. Don't miss your moment. You miss your moment, you don't know if that moment's ever coming back. Whatever moment God is giving you, take it by force.
Amen.
And let it be known, this is mine. I'm not going to let go of this moment. I'm not going to let go of this life-changing opportunity. This is my season to transition. I'm taking it by the horn, and I'm going forward in the Lord, and I won't let the enemy take anything from me. Tell us, it's my time. Say it's my time. Say it's my time. For my thing. For my God. And I'm not going to let the devil keep this from me. He said, let no one's heart fail for this uncircumcised Philistine. Your servant will go out and fight him. Listen to what the supposed anointed one said. Now, remember when I told you people won't encourage you? Listen to Saul. And Saul said to David, thou art not able to go against this Philistine to fight with him, for thou art but a youth, and he a man of war from his youth. Already discouraging him. See, because that's what the devil does. He's got to send some, because he knows your faith is high. He knows that you're waiting for God to do something. He knows that God wants to do something great. So before God does it, he's got to challenge you on your faith to see if you're going to keep that same level of expectation. Wow. Because he knows that if you stop expecting, God can't do it. That's right. So Saul, the one who should want somebody to go fight Goliath, because for 40 days nobody would. And David's the only one that had the courage to. Why are you discouraging him? Saul should have been saying, all right, my brother. Oh, God bless you. Listen, here, go out there. He's down there in the middle of the valley. We'll be over here until you finish. Instead, Saul is saying, you can't do it. Is there anybody here who's ever been told you can't do it? Yes. You won't make it. I'm here to let you know I'm here. That's right. I'm here. They said I couldn't do it. They said I wouldn't make it. They said I would never get a church building. They said I would never pastor. They said I wouldn't live. But God. They said you will die. But God will the overcomer please rise. If you're the overcomer, you've got to let the people know I can do this. So now, what happens? Saul speaks to David. Now David has to counter his words. Because David can't let those words get him down. So David talks back. And David says unto Saul, thy servant kept his father's sheep. And there came a lion and a bear, and took a lamb out of the flock. And I went after him. See, the bear didn't go this way, and David said, no, David went after him.
That's right. That's right.
While the bear was running, David was yet on his tail.
Wow.
You see that? Say, I got to go for it. Say it with me, I got to go for it. Listen, and I went out after him and smote him and delivered it out of his mouth. And when he arose against me, wrong option. Wrong option. When he arose against me, I caught him by his beard and smote and slew him. Listen, and thy servant who slew both the lion and the bear, and this uncircumcised Philistine shall coming down. My attitude is defeated. My attitude will speak no more. This day, the overcomer will rise.
Hallelujah. Thank you, God.
For no more will it keep me back. No more will I sit back afraid. Let no man be afraid. I will fight.
Thank you, Lord.
Glory to God. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus.
David said, the Lord delivered me. Listen. And Saul said unto David, now listen how David changes Saul's mind. Go, and the Lord be with you. All of a sudden he's saved. All of a sudden his faith done rose up. No, listen. The anointed king changed his words.
Yes, yes, yes.
The anointed one caused him to turn around. You know what I love? I love when people come. You ever had people come and talk to your defeat? And they come and they speak to your fear. And by a few words you speak to them, they're already changing their words.
Yes, yes.
Because I told you, attitude is transferable.
That's right. That's right.
For some people. But you're not transferring your bad attitude to me.
That's right.
You're not transferring your fear my way.
That's right.
That's yours, you keep it.
That's it. Amen.
What you have, you keep it. I'm going to keep my faith. I'm going to believe God. I'm going to keep my confidence in God. I'm going to trust the Lord. I'm going to rely on God. You know why? He's never failed me, and he never will. He will always keep me. He will always deliver me. Just like he delivered David from Goliath. I want you to know that he's able and willing to deliver you. Is there anything too hard for the Lord? Watch when people try to give you stuff. Saul tried to give David his armor. He didn't want to use it, and he's going to put it on David.
My God.
And you know Saul is taller than him, so how can I fight with your stuff? I can't fight. I can't use what you got. I'm not going to come in here and try to be like him. I'm not going to come in here and try to be like him.
That's right.
I'm not going to come in here and try to be like her.
That's right.
I've got to be what God made me. And we should all stand in the anointing that God has given us and work in the gifts and the talents which God has blessed us with. And let God use us and what he gave us, because I can't do what somebody else can do. I'm not going to go out there and try to take up karate like me. That's him. That wasn't me.
That's it.
He said it to me many days. He said, why don't you come? I said, nah, man, that's not me. You got to know your place.
That's right. Amen.
Will the overcomer please rise? An overcomer knows where they belong.
That's right.
An overcomer knows what they've been called to do. That's why David took on Goliath, because he knew this is my battle. This is my time. I will shine.
Yes.
Do you not know it was this battle that changed the course of Israel's history?
Yes, it did.
And it brought Saul down and brought David up. The women said Saul has killed his thousands and David his 10,000s. And Saul said, they have ascribed to me 1,000, but to David 10,000s. And an evil spirit entered him towards David.
Yes, yes, it did.
And Saul, who David won the battle for, tried to kill David.
Yes, he did.
Because he hated David? No. He hated the anointing on the overcomer. The devil don't like you. That's why you have hard times. That's why sometimes that's why you find yourself crying. Why, God? Why me? Because God knows who you are, and so does the devil, and he wants to stop you from where God wants you to go. But will the overcomer please rise? Will the overcomer please rise? What am I saying to you? Rise up to the occasion. It's your moment. It's your time to get what God has for you, and you can't miss this moment. It's your day. Don't give it to no one else. That's why you're under attack. That's why it seems like everything happens, he's trying to come against you. I know. I'm not just a client. I'm the president of this company. Because he's constantly after me to stop me. Jesus said, in this life, ye shall have tribulation. He said, but be of good cheer, for I have overcome the world. Stand with me. Come on, stand with me. Be of good cheer, for I have overcome the world. John 16 and 33. John 16 and 33. Be of good cheer, for I have overcome the world. Tribulation is a normal part of life. But what is also a normal part of the Christian life is deliverance. For God knows how to deliver the godly from temptation. Didn't Paul tell us, there is no temptation but such that is common to man? But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that you are able, but will, with the temptation, also make a way of escape. 1 Corinthians 10:13. God's called you to be a champion, an overcomer, and he needs you to rise to the occasion. It's time to confront your attitude, and it's time to cut its head off so that he can't talk no more. Goliath died as an example of what happens to a bad attitude. You've got to kill it if you want to stop it. Is anybody here that needs prayer today? Anybody today that wants prayer? You know who you are. I say yes, Lord, I will trust you and obey. When the Spirit speaks to me, with my whole heart I will bring, and my answer will sing, Michelle. Hallelujah, hallelujah. I say yes. I say yes, Lord, to your will and to your way. Come on. I say yes, Lord, yes. I will trust you and obey. When your Spirit speaks to me, with my whole heart I agree, and my every head bowed, every hand lifted. Every head bowed, every hand lifted. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Now you know you like I know me. You know you better than anybody else. Where has your attitude in your life kept you from going forward? Where has your attitude in your life kept you from being wise and having understanding? Where has your attitude held you back and kept you hostage and you could not go forward? Where has your attitude told you not to move when God is telling you to go forward? Where is it? Where is it? Where is that attitude of fear? I want you to confront it right now. As David confronted Goliath in the valley, I need you to confront your fear, your attitude right now here in the open. And you've got to speak to your attitude. In other words, you've got to speak to yourself. I will no longer be defeated. I will no longer sit back and watch everybody else go forward. But I will defeat you, attitude. In the name of Jesus, I take authority over you. In the name of Jesus, I'm pulling down every stronghold and I'm bringing it under obedience to the knowledge of Christ. And I will overcome my attitude. I will overcome my attitude. I will overcome. I will overcome. For I am an overcomer. I will overcome procrastination. I will overcome stagnation. I will overcome standing still. And I'm going forward in the name of Jesus. Hallelujah. My finances will be better. My finances are better. My family is better. My marriage is better. I'm confronting every attitude. I'm confronting every lie. I'm confronting everything that the enemy has done to destroy my life. I'm confronting my sickness. I'm confronting all things that's not like Christ. And I'm bringing you under the authority of the Word of God. In Jesus' name. Father, we thank you right now. Father, we touch and agree with each and every one in here, Lord. Lord, that you are able to heal, strengthen, deliver, and set free. And God, we thank you for what you're doing right now. For we know that you have called us to be overcomers. But Lord, you said that they overcame by the word of the Lamb, and the blood of the testimony. And Lord, we thank you now that because of your word and the blood of Jesus, that we have the victory. And Father, we know that you blessed us to overcome. Lord, you promised the church of Laodicea that you would bless the overcomer. And Lord, I'm believing that you're going to do it even now in this generation, in our day, God, that the overcomer will be blessed and he will see, she will see victory, and we will rise to the occasion. We will rise and confront the Goliath standing in front of us, and he's going to come down just like David brought down his giant. We count it done in the name of Jesus. Now, Lord, as we leave this place without your presence, bless us and take us home to our different destinations safely. Lord, may we speak this word in our life and allow you to take control. And we bless you and give you all the honor and glory. For you alone are worthy of our praise. You alone are worthy of our worship. In the wonderful name of Jesus. Now come on and give God a hand praise. Like you never had before. Come on and give God a hand praise. Amen.